Okay, so today, let me get my pen. So overnight was pretty crazy, right? Obviously, we had huge pump and dump. Then we recovered most of the pump. Actually, we got a pretty strong SMT here. So like we had ES take out this level up here, and then NQ was nowhere close. So like we're also having just huge divergence here, which is pretty typical of all-time highs, honestly. But it makes it pretty annoying, right? Because now when we're dealing with retracements, right? For example, NQ is basically double bottoming here, whereas ES is not. ES is basically just hitting golden pocket, right? So like they're at completely different points, if that makes sense. So a lot of times with that, it's there's two ways to do it. Like a lot of times you can basically trade off the one you're most comfortable with, or what you can do is just trade the safer of the two, right? So if you're seeing NQ and you're saying, okay, I'm going to take this golden pocket, it's probably safer just say I'm going to take the ES golden pocket in case we get that deeper hunt. Now, in terms of what's going on in the heat maps, obviously there's this 699 node that I know everyone's been paying attention to. There's also this SPX node down to 7010. Actually, let me check how well those align. So 7010, give me a second here. I don't know if those are actually, yeah, so those are basically the same level, right? Um, I I mean at this point we need news or something to come out to give that kind of drop. So I'd still be pretty surprised. Another reason is like this Vex node. If you check these Vex nodes yesterday, they were at like 6 million. So actually I'll just go ahead and do that. So another thing is like you also want to track how these nodes evolve. So when we look at it yesterday, right, we say, oh, okay, what were these Vex nodes at? Oh, were they not at? Wait, what? Oh, I swear we had large volume on these. Oh, it was only a market close that they showed up. Okay, interesting. But yeah, anyway, so at the close, right, we were seeing around 6 million, and then I thought for some reason SPX had much more volume down there. My memory might be busted. But in any case, even the SPY node, right, this has tailed off by a good chunk, right? Like this has decreased by half compared to what it was at close. So we're still seeing major downside, but again, are we gonna flush $13? I'm not viewing that too seriously. But yeah, anyways, switching back to the GEX. So again, what's gonna matter most is what levels we're close to right now. We had 712, I think, overshoot and sort of this reverse rug pull play out earlier. Now we dropped all the way down to 711, so it's looking like this 712 may now flip. We also have 7150 here as a strong ceiling. So that's probably what I'd be looking for in terms of if you want to play some kind of downside. And then upside would have been off 658. That would have been your clearest sign there. We didn't really have good confluence across to SPY, I'll be honest. 711, 710. 711 has very low volume. So it's really the 658 was the sole reason to play any kind of bounce here. Unless you're looking at, I guess anyone looking like tracking a fib retracement off of futures would have also been noting this ES fib retracement. Um, Okay. Yeah, so that's roughly what I've been seeing. Any other or any questions, I guess, like anything y'all have been looking at? What is bearish thesis? Like if you're looking for a reversal back down, I'd be saying you'd be looking at the 712 level. So yeah, I'm on 15 minutes here, but if we flip to the 5 minute or 3 minute, whatever I'm on here, you'd be looking for okay, 712 held as support. If we break below, if this holds as resistance. Now, I don't think this is like an A setup. Like this is really a level that's on its own. SPX ceiling is a little bit higher, but these are roughly in line with each other, the 7150 and the 712. And you also have the 661 as well that you can be calling the ceiling. So that would be your thesis there for downside. So actually this is like just played out off 661, 7150, 712, like that. That'll be roughly your ceiling thesis. Um, Yeah, I'd probably be looking at that. A safer, I guess if you want to wait for further upside, you'd be looking at 715, like for us to sweep high of day, but I'm not, at least right now, I don't think that's going to happen. It's, we're looking pretty bearish on some of these short term. So yeah, at this point, it looks like, yeah, we're, again, that 712, 661, like that's flushing pretty hard. So yeah, if you're even if we're not expecting 699 to hit, like if this is still giving you a very bearish bias, then you want to be looking for what ceilings are going to come along, right? So what levels get flipped from floors to ceilings. And so at this point, main concern on downside, like this is actually a very strong candle you're getting here, is you want to just double check the double bottom and 658 tap. This is not a super, like it's a floor only on QQQ. SPY and SPX don't really have it, but that's probably somewhere you can still trim into that level because there's a risk that we double bottom and get another bounce, right? And actually, yeah, sort of as I say that, well, let's see. I mean, this is not a very sustained move, but it looks like we may be getting a reaction here. Wouldn't QQQ be giving indication a chop between 658 and 661? Uh, t- t- no, I wouldn't say that it's giving an indication we're going to chop. I mean, it's saying 658 is a strong floor, 661 is a ceiling. Um, but that doesn't just because QQQ has that range doesn't mean that we're going to stay in that range, especially if SPY and SPX are showing wider ranges, right? So I mean, right now, yeah, 658 is holding, and 661 is we did get a rejection off of that, but I don't. Um, I would want to see a lot more positive volume for me to be like 100% saying or more confidently saying that we're just going to chop in this range, right? Because also the 658 has now been tapped twice, right? Say we balance, we come back down. If we start testing this a third or fourth time, then you're getting a risk that this level is going to crack, and then you'd be looking down at maybe 7100 or possibly 656 to hold as the next floor. Um, so yeah, who has this? Yeah, Fort Rocks. Usually when we're getting like just pure chop, you'll see a lot more positive volume, and not just on one. Like you'll be getting it across the board. So right now it's still pretty mixed bag. So I wouldn't be saying that it's just going to be chop. Also, 10-10 very early in the day. Yeah, I would definitely not be calling for chop this early. So yeah, let's see what happens. Uh, but yeah, definitely that those downside nodes that we're seeing, SPX all the way down here, SPY like that, these are making today pretty funky. Let me see here. Hmm.
Order submitted.
All right, where is my Zoom? Where the Zoom questions? Do I think Microsoft is close to a bounce? Let me check for you. Where is this thing? All right. So I think Microsoft yesterday was saying what? Yeah, so it looks like Microsoft has overshot like this 405. This is a really weird map, especially for Microsoft to not have this, like to only have one node and not other volume. I find really odd. Um, yeah, I don't know how I feel about this Microsoft map. Yeah, this 445 is dead. That's before earnings, basically. So yeah, you'd be looking for 405 to hold. 405 to hold, I would say. How do I mute this nonsense? Wait, give me a second, y'all. Sorry. I don't know how the settings work on this thing. Uh, all right. Yeah, so Microsoft, I mean, you'd be looking at 405 overshoot. So it looks like we are wicking. It looks like we did get a strong wick. So it's potentially hold that 405, but yeah, there's really a strong absence. And like, yeah, I guess what's so surprising to me is that this is a no for tomorrow. So the fact that we just have no volume anywhere. I mean, after earnings, this may just need a bit more time to reshuffle, might be also the thing there. Okay. But yeah, on the index side, yeah, this double bottom played out really nicely. So 658 still holding. So again, taking puts off 712, 7150, 661, like you should be trimming into the next potential downside that can bounce price, right? So again, if you trim here, leave runners, that's fine. We may get a further downside move, but you always need to be tracking what can get in your way on any of them. All right. It bounced. It touched the ceiling, went back down. I was about to ask you, Microsoft, another mic 7. Yeah, actually, yeah. So if you're looking at Microsoft Mars 405 is now flipped to a ceiling, then that is helping to support, bigger downside on the indexes. Yeah, I'll look at IWM in 1 second here. All right. Um, Mind looking at oh no, Kendrick, you're good. No worries at all. Yeah, we can look at IWM. Where's my what the heck? Oh, here we go. All right, IWM showing a lot stronger than the other indexes. All right, let me check the map on this. Oh, what am I doing? What? Where's my? Oh, here we go. All right, IWM. Yeah, it looks like we're coming up on this 274 ceiling. There's a chance of a double top. This map looks a lot messier though than the other indexes. Weird that IWM is showing Well, the other way to look at this is IWM is showing like a pretty strong floor at 272 for both today and tomorrow. So honestly, IWM either low of day sweep or high of day sweep. It looks like we could get a reversal. Um, so yeah, 274 on this high day sweep or 272, 270, both of those can get potential as a floor. All right. Who else asked? Someone asked about ARM, I think. Yeah, no problem, Kendrick. Let me switch on to the hourly. All right, so ARM, yeah, okay, so ARM, like we had a huge push, a bit of a pullback. We're now just consolidating here. Uh, oh, this is not ARM. Okay, I was gonna say, what is, why is my screen so slow? Okay, so ARM off 200 looks decent. Oh my goodness, it looks like it tapped that right out the gate. The issue is ARM's competing with like just a pretty bearish index, right? Like we just had a very sharp drop across the board. So if we do get a bit of relief bounce on the indexes, this should free ARM up to, really get a stronger push off this 200. But yeah, that was really the play off 200. And then at this point, you're looking for, I mean, this 205 is really low volume, but just chart wise, right? 205 is held a little bit, so you want to make sure it breaks through. But yeah, if you're in off 200, like ARM, I mean, already this is a great move, and you can probably wait, probably hold, see if we break 205 and start pushing towards 220-ish. Um, Otherwise, like if you're not in, yeah, just be waiting for 200. 200, 195 this would be a really safe play. I just don't think we're going to wick all the way down there. So yeah, it looks like 200. Basically, that floor has rolled up to 200. So that's how I'd treat ARM. Oh, sorry. One other thing I'll clarify. Like that doesn't mean hold till 220, but I'd probably trim and then leave runners going for 220. But yeah, this right out the gate, we got that tap. Yeah, I wonder if this node was showing strong, even 5 minutes. Yeah, I mean 200 there was right from market open. Yeah, issue there is like unless you had this charted pre-market or last night, you're just there's no way you catch that unless you had the alert already there. But yeah, definitely good floor there. Who asked for this? PS. All right. Give me a second here. All right. So again, right, we had 658. We had two bounces early, and now it looks like we actually had a full tap and a bit of an overshoot, and now we're still holding that level. So so right. I mean, even yeah, I guess big point here is like just make sure you're looking across the board, right? If you get stuck thinking about this 699 node or this 7010 node, you're gonna miss trades like this, or you may be holding for too long when you shouldn't, right? So always when you're in managing positions, make sure you're tracking, okay, what can get in my way, and you're trimming into those levels. All right. All right. Yeah, at this point, caught a bounce there. Let me see. I guess at this point you could be looking at 712 to hold again. I probably won't. Like we already caught one rejection off of that. I really don't like this divergence we're seeing, and it's just been really bad lately with us pushing all-time highs. Um, yeah, so it's QQQ has a bit of rug pull at 661, 662, which lines up with previous day high. SPY is already hitting previous day high. So you'd be looking at like 7,150 to hold. But I'm not seeing good alignment. Like, this QQQ ceiling is a little bit higher than where SPY is right now. So let me see here. So yeah, I mean, definitely like 7,150, you could look at it, see if that holds as a ceiling. But like we're not getting 7,150 and 712 is the best alignment I'm seeing right now. But we're not really getting like perfect alignment across the board. So I probably wouldn't call any of these a setup, but there's definitely is this marker too thin? Wait, let me make this. That's probably more legible there. So you'd be looking for roughly this. But again, I don't, maybe this is more of a B setup or something. But yeah, we are holding. It looks right now we're getting pretty good reaction there. So actually, yeah, this couple ceilings just marked out, getting pretty good reaction there. So I mean, yeah, these levels have been working quite nicely. It's just they've not been huge moves, right? And I don't know at the gate. I don't know what it looked like at this time. I was in a meeting, but we are definitely catching some reactions, right? Off 658, SPY, SPX, these ceilings holding pretty nicely. So definitely enough to be scalping like a good 20-30% on each of these directions. Let me see here. I think for anyone, I don't know if Sumina's in here, but Guan Yu shorts worked this morning as well. I guess you could try a re-entry. I usually don't re-enter these trades, but or actually no, it hasn't tapped the re-entry. It barely missed. So for Guan Yu stuff, and let me delete these fibs so y'all don't get confused. So he's basically looking for 3-minute inverse fair value gap. So as you can see, it also lined up pretty well with London low. So we got a valid play here, 10-12. We got a strong short off of that. He'll target, I think it's 50 points. So you just target 50 points, and then so that would have filled basically one candle. But yeah, we didn't get a strong enough push back up to get a second entry there. VNOT is 7150 King Node. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, King Node is just your largest absolute value level, right? So right now, 7150 SPX and then SPY 715. Okay, Tesla. Yeah, I can look at Tesla. All right, yeah. So again, 7150, 712 held. We're getting some downside there. Uh, what is going on with my keyboard? Oh, so it looks like, oh, okay, Tesla might be flipping this 370. So I think someone asked me yesterday and I was saying it looks like 372 is holding. Just barely. It looks like, yeah, we now broke under. I mean, index weakness, so looks like Tesla's now breaking under 372. But this like this map, I don't love it either. Like this is just a stack of positive volume, so it's very hard to tell, okay, are we gonna hold 372, get a further push down, or are we just gonna stay within this 370 to 375 range into tomorrow? So yeah, a map like this is just there's no range, right? It's so compact that I personally don't like trading these at all. All right, back to indexes. Let me see here. All right, 710 is actually going good amount of volume. So actually, this looks a little bit better than before, a little healthier on the floor side on SPY. So 709, 710. If you notice, this had just a 500 increase, 500% pop. Uh, so basically, yeah, this node just popped up. So basically our floor has gotten strengthened, right? So what was previously just a 658 floor, we now have that 710 to help out. Of course, we're going to bounce early, but so that's often a good sign, right? Like we're getting better alignment there, where low of day on both indexes now have a stronger floor. I mean, yeah, big thing here is still that 7150 is just not giving too much room to the upside. So you can definitely scalp this back and forth, but I'd be careful holding for any like extended moves. Because yeah, at this point it's looking QQQ is holding some pretty strong floors, and then SPX has this 7150 ceiling. So we're getting, yeah, its range is looking a little more compact, and this, I don't know, as time passes as well, at each point we're getting less and less biased towards these downside nodes on SPX and SPY. Like to me, yeah, really like news has to come out for those to occur. Otherwise, we're gonna stick within this range that I just been speaking about. Holy, Mule. No, I didn't talk about NVIDIA, but I can. So let me. Oh, okay. So NVIDIA, it's making a lot more sense why QQQ is so weak. NVIDIA is just straight selling off. We're now hitting this range here where we had a lot of consolidation last week. Um, so definitely that's something to look out for in NVIDIA. We can get some aspect here to hold. NVIDIA, we're also hitting strong 200 node. Again, this is a negative node, so we're expecting some kind of overshoot. Looks like we actually didn't overshoot too steep, but about $1. But yeah, it looks like, yeah, if you want to be really safe, you wait for 195, but otherwise 200 can definitely hold here. Like we're hitting the NVIDIA King node. I don't know why. Is there a reason NVIDIA sold off $10? Is there something that was going on, or is this just like overall semis are very weak? All right, sorry, Mule, to get to your question. Did I talk about NVIDIA? Two questions. Do I use current strike to describe the regime or the largest node to describe the regime? The regime describes the behavior of the stock, or does the current strike describe the behavior? It looks like a negative regime on 200 with support at 195 if I'm reading it right. Yeah, I guess it's kind of both, Mule. Like when I'm looking at NVIDIA, I'm saying, okay, if we bounce at 200, I'm expecting it to behave in line with negative, sort of like the negative principles, right? Yeah, if we do then further drop, honestly, if we drop down to like 197, 195, I'm honestly looking at this as like an inverse rug pull, right? Where we overshot a negative node, we're tapping into a positive node, so we might get a bounce there. Um, the regime reads sometimes are not going to be very clear, right? Like if we switch back to the indexes, um, actually right now it's a bit more clear. So like for example, QQQ, I'm looking at this. This is just a positive regime because we have overwhelming amount of positive volume, right? Like 662 to 664, that's all positive volume, 58 and 59, and even 55, 56. And also, if you just look at the actual absolute value, these negative nodes are negative 3,000 versus 33,000, right? So these are very almost negligible. So then that's what I'm looking at when I'm trying to gauge is it positive or negative regime, right? Same on SPY. SPY, we have overwhelmingly positive volume, right? I know 699 is an outlier, but that's so far away from price. I'm looking first at what's near price, right? Also 713, we have as, I mean, yeah, so there is one negative node mixed in, but it's overwhelmingly positive, right? SPX is more of a mixed bag. Like we do have the majority, I would say, are positive, but we do have a strong negative pocket here from 7135 to 7145. So it's you need to look across the board at what you're seeing, but I guess I don't base it off spot price or King node price. Like I'm just basing it on like what is the majority of the volume, right? So like but I guess yeah, if I had to pick one, it would be like what's closer to price, right? I'm not too worried. If Tesla has some huge negative node at 410, I'm less worried. I gotta focus first on where we are right now, right? Price is gonna move according to the levels it's at the moment, not the ones that are, 20 points away. So Tesla, like this is a huge positive volume regime, right? Tesla. So yeah, hopefully that helps, Mule. Yeah, we're definitely 7150 getting tapped here. Uh, But yeah, I guess yeah, if you're not off, maybe this double bottom on QQQ on 658 would have been the best play here. I don't know if I'd short. Issue here is if we break much further above 712, you're kind of shorting 7150 into the floor at 712. So that gives me a bit of hesitation. But yeah, NQ is so weak today. This is crazy. Actually, yeah, Quan entry is getting second tab there. Yeah, so we have a huge like divergence, right? ES has swept these levels. So like this will be, I guess, I don't know if everyone, so for anyone who trades futures a lot, you'll be looking at this as a bearish SMT, right? So that combined with the 7150 ceiling can be a good reason to short. But I know not everyone tracks this stuff. Like this is something more that futures traders are familiar with. But a lot of times when we swing low, swing high on one index, but not on the other, that means that even though QQQ hasn't grabbed this liquidity in order to reverse, there's a chance that ES has, right? And then we're getting that full reverse off that. So this is something I would take note of, right? Like these divergences. And if you look like, for example, overnight, oh, on the 3 minute, let me switch to the 15 minute. So if you look at overnight, right, you'll see that ES swept, like ES has been stronger since the overnight, right? Not just today, not just New York session. Like ES swept these levels, what, like at 8 a.m., whereas NQ was nowhere close. So again, like these kind of divergences a lot of times can lead one index to reverse without it actually sweeping that liquidity, right? So it's always good to be tracking across both sides. And same thing here on the downside, actually. So NQ swept, we got a bit of a reaction when NQ went and swept this like 2 a.m. low, whereas ES was nowhere near. So this is like a bullish example. So again, that's something I'll keep track of. It's something just good to note. I never take trades off of it, but this is a pretty good confluence that I use quite often, honestly. All right. Um, yeah, at this point now, we've shorted 7150, kind of rejected back down. Now we're looking again 658, 659, 712. Like we're looking again at the same kind of floors to see if we get some resistance there. Sorry, get some support and hold. And I guess if we lose 712, next floor down on SPY is going to be down here 710, so near this low of day. Uh, Amazon. But yeah, it looks like right now 712 overshot. It looks like we're trying to hold that level. Um, or if you're treating the 658, 659 as a stack, we're definitely holding this stack right here. So like this clump of nodes, it's been holding pretty nicely for low of day, basically. But yeah, you'd be waiting for probably 658 if you want to be safe there. Amazon. So Nvidia's still sinking. It looks like Nvidia. No, it still has a ways to go to get to 195, but all right, Amazon. Yeah, it looks like 260 is a pretty strong floor here, actually. King node with a mixed stack. Mixed stack? I guess you're saying this 250 to 255 area? Dot two? Yeah, sorry, Amazon, right? We have 275 basically all the way down to 250, 247 as our range. So you can play this intermediate node, see if you get a bounce or if you get a continuation down. But this is like whenever we say like try to avoid the middle of the ranges and wait for the extremes, this is a good example, right? Of like the safest thing to do here will always be wait for 250, play a bounce there. This upside, I doubt we're gonna go. Well, sorry, it's not that I doubt, but we already hit 275 and rejected off of it in the morning. But that's like whenever you see in the documents, like don't I forget what the term is, but like don't stick around in the middle, etc. This is what we mean. So sometimes the intermediate nodes can be a little more difficult or require a little bit more attention. Whereas if we go down, hit 250, so if like basically we go sweep out these earning wicks, you can probably long a lot with a bit more confidence there. Hopefully that makes sense, Datu. Yeah, no problem. Uh, what else we got? Yeah, again, see if we hit 658. If you want to be really safe, you wait for NQ to double bottom, take longs there. Yeah, they've been pretty annoying with these double bottoms, double tops lately. I think it's Tuesday. Like Tuesday, we just never swept out that high of day before rejecting on downside. So yeah, if we bounce early here again, that'll be pretty annoying. But yeah, so the 658 level is holding twice. All right, 1040. Yeah, I guess I'll stick around another 30, 40 minutes. We've already had some pretty big scalps going back and forth both ways. Uh, so let me see here. Yeah, Spy has been really awkward today, I won't lie. Like QQQ has been showing floor ceiling a little bit nicer. Well, actually, it's been like QQQ has been the floor, Spy has been showing the ceiling, Spy and SPX. But the issue here is like you're now getting a QQQ double bottom at 658, where Spy floor is more towards 710 or 712. So Spy is kind of like in this dead zone in the middle at 711. So it's a bit tricky there. So I mean, yeah, the 658 level obviously has been holding strong. It looks like it's going to again, but GH Quant Strat look 10 a.m. had bullish for value gap. GH, yeah, so the Quant Strat, let me switch to 3 minute. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Like we got a second tap of it. Um, so basically with the quant strategy, right? You see this bullish fair value gap form. As soon as you see this bearish one form, right? Because you need an opposing bearish fair value gap. So as soon as you see this one form here, what you're doing is saying, okay, we've not confirmed we have a close below, we've inversed this. You just set a limit order up here, right? So you just say, okay, 265. Like if you're doing futures, you just set limit cells up here at 265, and then you don't really have to watch it after that. What you can do is just as you tap, make sure you have like an automatic take profit set. But yeah, 265 for 50 points. This has hit, oh, actually, this hit 100 points, right? This has played out. Oh, actually, the second one didn't hit 100 points. Well, you got very close, right? Like this is giving you more than 100 or 100 or so, and then 80 to 90 points the second one. So I'll typically only trade the first one, but um, but yeah, definitely the second one worked here for sure. Like, and you have pretty good confluence today of like this. I know it's on a different index, but this inverse fair value gap lined up pretty well with 712 on SPY, right? So that gives you a bit of extra confidence there. Oh, you were sleeping. Yeah, all good. But yeah, you read there completely right. I mean, we'll have to check what sometimes he actually surprises me with some of the plays he posts. Like it's not what I would have originally expected, but I think today this was a pretty clear one. Yeah, if this isn't what he posts later, I'd be pretty surprised. Oh, you just missed it. Yeah, so if you're doing futures, it's a lot easier. Like you can just set a limit sell. Options is a little trickier. Like you're not actually able to limit sell at a chart level. You kind of just have to be tracking. You have to track it live more. So yeah, again, well, if it's futures, just make sure you're setting those limit sells as soon as you're seeing it inverse. And yeah, like MACD is definitively red all morning. You think you need an alarm? Oh yeah, that's probably worth doing, honestly, is like set some kind of reminder that so you don't forget. Because if it's something you're tracking pretty often, like quant use plays, then definitely worth, just ensuring that it's something that you're going to be able to catch each day. Especially if that system clicks for you, right? If it's something that it makes a lot of sense to you, then yeah, you might as well steer or make sure you're catching those trades, right? All right. And yeah, for anyone here who doesn't know what we're talking about, DM me and I'll send you his recap thread and I'll send you a video I did about it. That was a couple months ago now. But yeah, I'll send that info over. Uh, all right. So that was quant stuff. Yeah, by now I'd have to ask him, but I would not be taking a third tap of that inverse fair value gap. I generally just stick to one or two. But yeah. All right, let's see what continues to build here. All right, so yeah, again, 658 holding there. Yeah, by now, 658, that's depends how you want to count this, but that's second or third tap of that level. Um, so yeah, 712 holds, 712, 7150 hold again and reject this back down. I would be a lot more hesitant to long 658 a third or fourth time. So let's see if we can actually get a stronger push up. Maybe flip the 712 to a floor. That would definitely give us a lot more a lot more argument for a push upwards. Thing is, we also have to flip 7150. Yeah. So again, like this is if you're in longs off of 658, this is a consideration you should be having. If you're not, then this is already played out basically. Right. All right. So now it looks, yeah, I really want to see QQQ clear 661, but it looks like, yeah, we may start pushing, see if we can flip the 7150. Um, yeah, at this point, yeah, these downside decks just look like some end of month, I don't know, some end of month hedging or who knows what, but yeah, that stuff I don't think it's gonna play out. Can I explain how to use Architect's VIX pivots? I'll explain what I know, but I don't use them myself, so I don't. There's probably people that explain this a lot better. Today we're below his 18.32 pivot, but we're mostly dumping. Um, well, so his pivot, the way I know to use them, well, the way I think people are using them is, Jay, thanks for sending that. Is basically if we hold. he has some 10-minute rule. Like I know there's a big thing of like, oh, okay, we need to hold above or below the pivot, have no taps of it within a 10-minute window. It's something weird like that. And then for it to be like confirmed. And then once it's confirmed, then you have your bias of, okay, if we're holding well below, then it's going to be, I guess, an upwards trend or the potential for a flip upwards. And then if we hold above, then on the opposite, of course. But yeah, I would go read through Jay's guide. I think also Connor. So there's one guy, Connor. I think he has the profile picture with him in the sunglasses. He uses Architect's VIX levels all the time. So if you need to reach out to someone, just try to like tag him maybe in Asgard. And I think Hazy also uses them off the top of my head. Those are the few people. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Yeah, I don't want to say too much. I don't look at VIX. Honestly, like I don't even look at the VIX at all when I'm trading. So um, and yeah, if I don't even look at the VIX, I'm not even going to go into that architect's levels. So there'll be other people that got better explanations than I do. All right, 715. Yeah, in terms of upside, so it looks like for now 7150 is still giving a bit of trouble. But we're at to be expecting some resistance on SPY QQQ would be 714-ish and 662. So QQQ, that's about like a 50% retrace on the day. SPY, it's a lot of a deeper retrace. It's probably hitting like the 0.786 fib, even a little bit deeper. So that's probably what I'd be looking for there. We're getting a bit more sandwich now at this point. So it's looking like SPY, we're getting a range from 712 to 715. QQQ, we're looking at like 659 up to 662. So it's definitely getting a lot of positive volume stepping in. So it's looking like we may. And honestly, like if you look at price action today, this is pretty tight range, right? So again, like what I was mentioning at the beginning of positive volume is generally going to give you this kind of movement, still holding true. So I don't know about 715, but yeah, I think 714 definitely. There's probably some point we'll go tap there. So that's where you can start looking and saying, okay, try to get a reversal downwards. But I think 662 is going to align pretty well with maybe the midpoint of the 714, 715 stack, I believe. But there's quite a bit of divergence, so you're definitely going to have to track this as it goes. S. Wait, does that say S? No, 5. Okay, I don't know who you are, but the black versus white is just a contrast thing. It's just showing black on the lighter colored ones and white on the darker colored ones, so that's not important. Um, but I guess you can use it to track. Generally, the white font will be stronger negative nodes, but that's not always true. If you notice, like if you look at 7195, this is a positive node that's still white font, so I would just neglect the font. It's just a contrast thing, or like a visibility thing. Two color. Yeah, I mean, there's small things about this tool that like it's good to know, but it shouldn't really be like impacting how you use it, right? So like a lot of people get tripped up about the background color, right? But that's also not something that's that big of a deal, right? All the background color is telling us if there's more negative, like if there's more, sorry, not more negative, if there's more purple, that just means there's a very strong positive node and there's not very strong negative nodes, right? So for example, QQQ, strongest negative node is at 5,000, whereas strongest positive node is skewed way higher at 30,000. So then what happens is all the nodes that are close to zero, they start skewing towards the negative side. That's just how this like color scale works. So stuff like that, like the dark, black or white font, stuff like that, like it's good to know, but this shouldn't, if you're just looking at the values on this is not going to impact how you're using the tool, right? Um, but I guess it is good to clarify because hopefully no one's looking at like, oh, I don't know, black font versus white font, we should treat them different. Like it's the same thing. Or it's not the same thing, but it can vary a lot based on what we're It can vary a lot based on the strength, the absolute strength of the king node and which way we're biased for all the volume on the day. All right. Yeah, getting stronger push here, getting close to 662, as well as the 714, 715. So we're approaching some of these ceilings that I mentioned earlier. The 660 node just grew out of nowhere. This is a crazy rate of change. So yeah, whenever you like any of these insane percentages, that basically just means the node was close to zero and just popped. So um, again, so this one, I'll take note of this one because it's growing to a value that's significant enough to matter relative to the king node. But for example, on SPX, I don't really care about 7200 spiking that hard yet because 2000 to me is still just a small fraction of what the king node is here. Screenshot of 660. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So exactly. 660, you're catching that huge drop off, right? Uh, let me, sorry, give me a second to check my calendar here. All right, I might have to hop off by 11:20 to 11:30 so I can go get food before I have some meetings at lunch. Or not go get food, go eat lunch. All right. Yeah, I can stay on a little bit longer. All right. Good day for barbecue. Nah, I don't have a grill or anything, Craig. I wish. Yeah, maybe I'll get barbecue on the weekend. It's been a while since I've eaten that. All right, so yeah, by now tapping into some of these ceilings. Um, I will say though, SPX is showing a pretty good rug pull up here, 7-1, 7-5. So that lines up with if we get a full high day sweep, 7-1-5 node. If we're gonna reject a bit early, this is gonna be off this SPY, QQQ ceilings, right? So potential for like an early entry here, and then if you want to be more cautious, you'd be waiting up here for this high day sweep. Um, Now obviously this is high day only on ES, and Q is like not even close. Overnight it had all the way up to 620. So again, the big divergence still taking hold here. I wonder. Wait, give me a second here, y'all. Oh man, this bottom. I botched this. I was not looking at futures. Yeah, this bottom was really nice. Like we swept this overnight. This 2 a.m. low. We had the 4 level hitting on standard deviation. 658 confluent. Yeah, this is a really nice trade. Yeah, I completely missed that. Wasn't looking close enough at futures. I think I was too focused on the quant U side. I forgot to map that out. right. So yeah, what I will say is that what was previously, so let me check the replay to double check, but what was previously a 662, 663 ceiling has now spread out over a few more nodes. So maybe if I go to 1050, actually no, it's been a three node stack the whole time. I take that back. But yeah, so that'd be okay. So definitely like on SPY now, right? 714 still holding. We're definitely getting 715 growing quite a lot too. So it's yeah, what I mentioned earlier. If you want to be safe, play 715 along with the 7175. Like this is a really good confluence up here. This rug pull along with the SPY ceiling, along with the high day sweep. Um, but you could definitely justify an earlier entry here if you want. Then you'd probably be playing, see if you can get a push back down to like 712.5. It looks like they are rolling a lot of volume a bit higher, so it seems like the ceilings are getting a bit extended upwards. All right. Uh, yeah, any any questions here? Guess I'll just stay on, see if we reject here, and then probably just cut it after that. Uh, but yeah, yeah, a lot of volumes rolling higher. Yeah, I might go with the more cautious entry on this rejection down. See if you can sweep higher day, get that bit of a get that divergence as well, where you're getting that liquidity sweep on SPY, and then see if that can help this QQQ drop. At least right now, yeah, it's sort of surging right through. It stalled a little bit at 714, but looks like it's getting some good momentum to keep pushing through. And also QQQ, right? We're getting 662. Looks like it can be flipping to a floor as well. So yeah, I'm a little more hesitant to short now until we go hit 715, 7175. Which looks like it may happen here soon. Wow, if they reverse this without tapping up there, gonna be this is a scam. But yeah. Today's also the last day of the month, so a lot of times we will get some pretty crazy movement in a month. So it's another thing to consider there. Oh my goodness. Are we really gonna reject without, bruh, this missed by like $2 the high of day? That's super annoying. Hmm. Shoot, this was a good trade too. All right. Yeah, any questions here? I may cut this early actually. I don't know. It looks like right now we're holding here, but 662 may have flipped to a floor, so that's why I'm a bit hesitant to say that it's gonna have a big upside. When will a floor become a ceiling? Oh, so there's not like a finite answer for that. Generally, what people will say is you can use one node's past. So for example, Microsoft, when we're so generally people will say one node past, like on SPY, you'll be using your stop loss basically as like a dollar past or just a little bit. Maybe you don't have like a hard stop, but it's like you're just tracking that level of dollar past. It depends on the ticker though. Like a lot of times with things that are a little bit more expensive, like Microsoft, Caterpillar, Costco, sometimes I will do more than just one node. Right, because a $2 drop or $2 overshoot on Microsoft is way different than a $2 overshoot on, I don't know, OKLO, right? It's also relative to like the ticker price. Um, and it's also relative to like what's the ticker volatility, right? Like I know in the past I've traded like what is this, Soundhound or like Rigetti last year when Quantum had a lot of volatility, like or even OKLO last year, right? When it was trading like above 100, 150. In those cases, I was giving overshoot of like three nodes sometimes, right? If I know that it's a very volatile ticker, or in a case like Microsoft, basically after earnings, there's a chance we may get a bit more volatility. So I will say though, Microsoft is kind of on the fringe, right? Where you're trying to establish, okay, is this an overshoot? It looks like we're going to hold 405, or is this 405 now flipped? I'd probably be leaning. Let me see, when a full $5 passed, I'd probably be leaning towards it actually being flipped. But actually, I would say like Microsoft is right on the edge. So yeah, in cases like this, I'll either if I can't tell conclusively or if I feel pretty on the fence about it, I'll just avoid. But generally, I'm using like one or two nodes past as a overshoot undershoot before I start saying that it's flipped. So I know that's a semi-vague answer, but it is something where it's not a definite answer, right? Like it's not like, oh, if you have a 15-minute candle close past by this amount, it's automatically been flipped, right? Like even on the indexes, right? Like our general rule of thumb is $1. But I've seen overshoots of $1.50, $2. So it just depends on the given day. So I think as long as you're consistent, that's fine, right? So like just don't be switching it according to whatever situation that goes on. So just try to stick with one system. You can always tweak it over time, but try to make sure you're consistent in your that you're not just switching it all super, super often. All right. Uh, yeah, anything else? It looks like we're getting well, SPX is the only one. SPX still has a little bit of negative volume, but it's overwhelmingly positive, spike QQQ. Now I think like we've had pretty massive moves. Like today we had a big dip in pump, and then overnight has been just been like crazy. So then I'm expecting at some point we got to slow down. I might be wrong, but at some point we need to chill out. And it's looking like 7175, 715. We got some strong ceilings here. 662 looks like it may be stepping in as a floor. So we may get price to slow down here. 11, especially as we start pushing closer and closer to lunch. I would be expecting less and less out of these moves. Like it's just, we can't have massive moves all day, right? Eventually price will need to consolidate and just give it a little bit of a break. So yeah, that's how I'm looking at this right now. There's been a few moves. I think some of these moves off 712, 658 was also a strong floor. Some of these moves were definitely catchable. Even 7150 gave a couple bounces downwards. Carvana. Oh shoot, Carvana for September. Didn't Carvana just gap up? What? Oh, Carvana completely reverted. Yeah, I mean this is all right. Yeah, case in point, why you don't play earnings, right? You can get this earnings direction completely right. I think Jack had posted about flow on it. So I mean, like, he was completely correct. If you're not exiting and market open on the dot, you're getting screwed here. It's not only basically you have IV crush and this candle just going straight against you, right? So yeah, earnings always going to be a risk. You said how far out? September? I generally don't look that far. So we got 470 for May. Wait, how are you even seeing this? Oh, I need to turn on all the strikes. Well, we got 600 in July, 700. I don't understand. How is Carvana this bullish? I don't get it. Oh, wait, this is sorry, one second. This is a bug. Sorry, gotta send this. All right. Yeah, Craig, I guess if you're looking all the way out to September, sorry, I was taking a screenshot there. If you're looking all the way out to September, gotta look at the weekly. I mean, yeah, Carvana, this double bottom on Carvana was insane. Actually, support resistance flip here, basically. This is an insane play. Um, it's hard for me to say, Greg. Like, this is really like we're getting into price discovery, right? When you're looking at, so like the only way I know to play price discovery is fib extensions. This is not something I often do though. So if you look, like we had this strong push, tap the 0.618. So then I know what some people will do is they'll come in here and say, okay, if we go mark out, nope, that's the wrong way. If we go mark out the negative, how do I do this? Yeah, there we go. So they basically mark this extension out. So they'll say like, okay, if we manage to, I mean, first we just need to go clear all-time highs. Then if we get like a strong push through all-time highs, then they'd be looking at this fib extension as like their next target. So I guess this does align with 700, like you were saying, but this is not this I never do. Like I almost never play price discovery. Who's the guy that does this? I think Magna trades, Craig, if you've seen him. He'll do this quite a lot. But Carvana, I mean, Carvana is 700. I don't know. I guess fundamentally I don't get it, but yeah, I guess it can happen. Like the note is there, but And not only the 700 node, like we also have this node, we have the 600, 570 in June and July. So like there is a bit of a staircase, 470 in May. It just seems like super ambitious. At this point, I wonder like how much would that even cost? Yeah, I'm curious. You look at like Carvana November at 700, bro, it's like $1,000. Um, oh, that was November. If you look at September, yeah, you can get 650 for like $900. I mean, I don't know. It looks decent, Craig. But yeah, I don't know. Struggling a bit with that one. I guess chart thesis wise, like you really needed to go hit all-time highs, break retest, and just continue surging. So yeah, we still haven't survived a day. Yeah, this is probably gonna get choppier through lunch, I'd expect. Tighter ranges across the board as well. So all right, yeah, and I think I'll just end this here, honestly. Any questions on anything I went over, or just any general questions y'all may have? All right, otherwise, I think yeah, I'll let y'all have at it. I'm gonna eat some food. I haven't didn't eat anything. All right. Hope hope this was helpful. Again, y'all can always reach out with any questions, DM me. Yeah, good luck with the rest of the day. It's end of the month, so sometimes we get some pretty screwy days. And then yeah, good luck today and tomorrow as well. All right, thanks everyone. And I'll get this posted as soon as it like renders. Not renders, but as soon as it compiles, gives me the files. Yeah, yeah, no problem. Well, thanks everyone for joining and all the questions.